Welcome to No One is Safe, a podcast about books, life, and where the truth can be stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Elizabeth Scozzari. Ho, ho, ho! We're in the holiday season, and I am so excited to share not just Santa with you, or my general holiday cheer, Christmas cheer. I am a fucking Christmas fanatic, and I cannot wait to talk to you about all of the Santas. Mall Santa, multiple smutty Santas, athletic Santa. We are doing all of it. We are also first going to start with a little more sweet and demure. Just kidding. We're looking at Pretty Little Liars, which if you've ever watched the show, read a book, or listened to my last review, these girls are not really wholesome or sweet. The premise is that one of their friends goes missing. The four remaining girls all get text messages bullying them, threatening to expose their secrets, and there ends up being a lot of dead people along the way. And by dead, I mean murdered. So it's not really wholesome, but at this point, I have finished rewatching the entire show. I have a different opinion of it than the first time I watched it, but I'm also really getting into the books. I read the majority of them in this month, and that includes Perfect, which is number 3, Unbelievable, which is number 4, Wicked, which is number 5, and Killer, which is number 6. There are definitely highs and lows. Specifically, Wicked for me was a 5-star book. The plot twist, the characterization, the storylines, all the different aspects. I loved it. I think I might have loved it just as much as the first one, if maybe not like a little bit more. I have toyed with the idea of like whether or not you could read these as individual standalone books. I think there's enough context provided that you could. Each book kind of has its own focal point, but as a mystery on a whole, I think you'd be missing a lot. Something like A Court of Thorns and Roses, and we will be talking about A Court of Silver Flames in a couple of weeks. But like something like that, I think you could read just one and be okay, because while there's an overarching storyline, and the first 3 definitely you could just read and be okay. I don't know if you could get away with it for the Pretty Little Liars series, but I will say that Wicked was a highlight among the first 6 that I read. I'm just going to go to the first 8. This, again, we're talking about books 3 through 6. Number 5, which is Wicked, is a 5-star book for me. I loved it. 6, on the other hand, Killer, is a low point. The entire book is just about Emily and about this fucking flag. There's a flag. In case no one knew, this is really repetitive. And this is coming from a girl who, like, I know I can repeat myself sometimes. Sometimes I talk in circles. I get it. Like, not a great thing, but whatever. I am who I am. This brings repetition to a whole new level. And it's all about a fucking flag and a shitty character. I am sorry if you love Emily. I apologize that we have different tastes in people, but I said what I said. And just outside of the repetitious language and the repeat descriptions or like repeat flashbacks of this one pinnacle moment, which like we got it. We could have moved on a little faster. Overall progress, I am into book 7. We're going to talk about that in January. Perhaps a little fresh perspective and some distance from book 6 would be good. But I just think that it's still a slow burn overall mystery. What really happened to this girl that disappeared? The other book that I read was Mother-Daughter Murder Night by Nina Simon. And it was interesting because it's one of those books that sat with me for a while. I read it. I kind of felt some type of way about it, and I ended up thinking a lot about this book, probably more so after I read it than when I was physically reading it. The premise is there's 3 women, the Rubicon women, The grandmother is like power suits, very important, businesswoman, will snatch your dick off and eat it like a fucking Twinkie in the mall. But she is like a badass businesswoman. On the other side of that, you have her daughter, who I'm going to call the mother of the story, and her low-key lives out in the middle of nowhere, very small town, really not a lot of people, kind of keeps to herself, woman, and her daughter Jack. So her daughter Jack is 15. We find out that Beth was a young mom, and that's kind of what caused the divide between the grandmother and the mother. And so there's this family dynamic. There's also the dynamics of powerful, rich, what does that mean, business, and, you know, down to earth, artsy. Jack loves kayaking and finds a dead body on her kayak tour. Automatically, the police think it's her. At the same time, the grandmother has collapsed, diagnosed with aggressive cancer. She comes to live with her daughter and her granddaughter. So it's the three of them now in this tiny house. A dead body has been found. What happens? And that's the overall storyline. But what ends up surprising me about it was how often I came back to it. How often I came back to the relationships of these Rubicon women and how they were each able to contribute something different to finding out what happened, who this dead person was he murdered, what happened and why, and also where it ties in to other aspects of this story. So it was really interesting how everything kind of ended up getting sewn together and woven together. The diversity and the different kinds of people and personalities. You have everything from migrant workers to empowered female detectives. You have all different backgrounds too. You don't just have your cookie cutter white bread people. You have people of Jewish heritage. You have a little bit of everyone. It was all done in a way that was very, I think, representative. And it wasn't just like, oh, let's slap a label on it and say, look, we checked a box. It was how these people each represented themselves as individuals and also their ties to their own culture and their own heritage. So it was really beautiful to see how it all kind of moved together. And it was one of those ones that stuck with me and stuck with me for a while. I wouldn't say, like, if you're looking for a fast-paced whodunit, that this is the right book for you. But if you're looking for something kind of in its own orbit, it is a murder mystery on some level. It does have some thrilling suspense. It is women's fiction. It does look at family dynamics. Like, there's a lot of different categories that this book fits into, in my opinion, not as like a literary scholar, but just like a person who likes to read. I would recommend it, but alas, we are on to the last book of December and also the most thematically appropriate. It is by far the most smutty of the bunch and the most Christmassy. It is called Tempting Klaus by Ashlee Rose. 4 stars. Don't even have to think about it. I cannot say it enough. If you want a novella that is going to light parts of you on absolute fire while getting you drenched, you should read it. I think it's like $2.99 on Amazon. Amazon Kindle. I don't know if there's a difference. It's affordable. It is so good. If you love smut, if you love spice, if you love that, you know, older man, that hot, attractive older man who just is going to show you things, then by all means, it's worth it. Read it, love it, read it twice, whatever you have to do with it. The plot, because there is a plot, the plot is that Belle was kind of betrothed to this man in like a business arrangements of sorts. Her husband doesn't really give 2 shits about her. She's obviously, because it's like that kind of smutty romance book. It's a novella, but She's very attractive. She's a virgin. She just wants to like be with her husband in an intimate way, and he doesn't give two shits about her. They are at the dad's house for the holidays. Her and the dad have like a bond. Bella's had enough. She's like, you know what? I'm going to show my man exactly the kind of wife I want to be. So she drives to the office. She walks in. He is fucking his secretary. And she's heartbroken. So now that she's heartbroken, she goes back. She's talking to Klaus. Lo and behold, I will leave it up to your imagination. It's good. It's Christmas. It's smutty. And I fucking love Santa. So I'm all in. 4 stars for that. Tempting Klaus by Ashlee Rose. It was the best book I read in December. But it was also a different vibe than the other ones. The mother-daughter mystery that I mentioned before, which was really good, really introspective, made you think about relationships and a lot of stuff. It was good. It was probably a little heavier than either Pretty Little Liars or this. Pretty Little Liars was good in its own mystery, teen drama way, minus book number 6, which sucks. Okay, it doesn't suck, but it's just really repetitive, and I'm going to get repetitive more than normal with continuing to say it. And then this book, Tempting Klaus, was fiery, spicy, and all of the naughty that you need under your Christmas tree. That is what I read, but it is not the end of Santa. I think I mentioned at the end of last week's episode that where I was supposed to be training for a 5K, I ended up eating a bunch of turkey, which is more appropriate because Santa, while he could be hot and older with a white beard, like, it's a problem. I will admit it. I have probably fetishized Santa. I don't even know if that's the right way to use fetishize, but I fucking love Santa. I love him in a wholesome way. I would love him in a dirty, dirty way. This is probably way too much information, but where I was going with this is while I was stuffing my face with turkey instead of walking and running to get ready for a 5K, the theme of the 5K was, in fact, Santa. It was a Santa run down in Asbury Park. Me and my bestest friend, Matthew, we went down and we both had stuffed too much turkey and not enough walking or running or any kind of preparation work. But we did both do well for 2 people who really slacked off. And while we didn't have maybe like the typical Santa body, neither one of us was in prime shape. Let me just put it that way. But we both came in at 40 minutes and 43 minutes respectively, which I think for 2 people who didn't train is pretty good. We both had a blast. The money went to charity, which was even better. And it also meant that I got to dress up like Santa in this like ridiculous felt outfit that was just so much fun. And it was a great time for a great cause. And the money went back to the community of Asbury Park. So phenomenal. I also got to see the stone pony. I did not actually go in it, but I was around it. So look at me checking off Jersey landmarks, despite the fact that I lived there for most of my life. No longer live there, but do still visit. It was really special to me to be able to celebrate the holidays and see where I'm at as a person and where I've grown. And the cherry on top is my birthday. It's right after Christmas. So after getting to celebrate with my family, see the people I love, I then get to celebrate my birthday. And so my guy took me out to Geneva. I think that's how you say it. I also might just be calling it the town from the Princess Diaries, or the country from the Princess Diaries. But either way, there was a castle, the Belhurst Castle and Winery. There is a winery component, and that is what I got to do for my birthday. It was a present, and it was so much fun. There's the historical component, there's how they've modernized it, and the history of this castle. There's rumors that it was linked to like parts of the Underground Railroad, which like no one was able to substantiate. But probably one of the coolest things is that carpenters back in those days would, as they were designing and like hand carving the wood and the stone for these massive projects, they would all put their own calling card in the woodwork. So like somewhere they would carve a face. It's rumored that it was theirs, maybe someone that they loved, but they would include this face in their woodwork or stonework as the case may be. And so now there's several different versions that we heard of the story while we're there. And we sit down for this 5-course fancy ass meal with this pairing of wine. It's something I've always wanted to do, and like it was set up for me for my birthday, so it's really special. And it was just so much fun. But like there's a lot of wine. And if you have like a cool sommelier or waiter, like he wasn't either of those things, but he like walked you through or talked you through the pairings of everything. And he was cool. He was a cool dude. I'm 98% sure his name was Derek. But he was walking us through, and of course he's personable. We're all having a great time, except this one lady. There was this one lady at this table, like she hated the scallops. She hated everything about everyone, like super judgy. She actually said, I'm only doing it for him, but you know, I'd rather be home, and was kind of like a negative Nelly. And I'm also not entirely sure that they actually paid for their bill, because what I overheard later was they had to call the hotel that they were staying at to get their credit card information. So I don't even know if they paid for it, but whatever. It has nothing to do with me. I just think it's amazing that I sometimes lack the confidence to do things that are like within normal people things to be confident in. And this woman is like, not only can I be negative and draw attention to myself, but I'm also not going to pay my check. But I digress. So we're going to call him Derek, even if that's not his name. But Derek was super cool. He like gave me and like the other table extra wine, not the lady who wasn't so nice. Like they didn't get extra wine, but we all did. So it was like a lot of wine, and it was a lot of fun. Afterwards, because we're celebrating my birthday, we all hit the bar that's across, like, it's all in the castle. So here's like the fancy dining room, and then there's like a little like open, it's a massive hallway, passageway, whatever. And then there's like a little bar over here. So we all head over there. We're doing shots of tequila. I love tequila. I also found out that in addition to sports, Michael Jordan also made a tequila, which if I understand is like a disgusting amount of money per shot. I did them. They were delightful. Don't really remember doing them, but that is not the only thing that is disgustingly overpriced and that I don't remember in this story. So now we're talking again on like a much more casual level. The other couple went, they had somewhere else to go. So it was me, my guy, the bartender, his friend, and we start talking about these carvings in the wood again. So like I'm drunk, I'm going off on my own tangent to be like, I'm gonna find another one. You said it was on this direction. So like I go and I'm walking around like I'm the only person there. And I might have been, as far as I'm concerned. I was having a great time. So I found all of them except one. And I just like, I was really excited, and I was so annoyed because my guy found the other one. I was like, where is it? And he wouldn't tell me. The end of the night comes. I've taken that last shot that I'm like, I'm good now. I'm good now. So we go upstairs. I was supposed to get a pedicure at 10. The woman who was supposed to do my pedicure had actually passed out. So they called and said, we're so sorry, we have to cancel. Is that okay? I was like, yes, it's fine. Because I was really not a functional person yet. And I just went from 33 to 34, and this is how I'm starting it. I'm mildly dead inside. And I have an amazing man in my life, because I woke up the second or third time, whatever time it was that I woke up, to breakfast from the buffet downstairs. A whole spread. Oatmeal, prepared, not prepared, toast, untoasted bread, buttered, all in a spread. And all I could manage was the water for a little bit. We had massages at 12. So now they tell you, just come down in your robe, because you're in the castle. So you just go down this grand staircase. You go down, you pass the 2 restaurants, past the guest check-in, and then to the spa. So I'm like, fine, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'll walk around in a towel. So I've reached that point in my life, everyone. I'm shuffling, because walking for me at this point is like slow motion, baby. And we're on the stairs, and I just stop. And I'm standing there for a minute, and my guy turns around and he's like, you gonna give him another kiss? And it all came back to me. To my right are these 2 statues behind a red velvet rope. And at some point, after several glasses, bottles of wine, and however many shots of tequila. I had been going upstairs, and it all came back to me in that moment. I somehow managed to like curtsy over to kiss this statue on its nose. Didn't hold on to the wall, the railing, didn't fall, have no idea how any of it happened, but I managed okay, went upstairs, still had a blast, passed out, went to bed, whatever, and we're back to present day. But I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. So now I'm looking up, I'm looking for the security camera. I'm like, oh my God, there it is. But you know what else I found? The missing carving in the wood. So now I'm all excited again. This is all I want to talk about. But like my excitement at this point is like, oh my God, it was so cool. Because I'm like still in some kind of hungover haze. We get an amazing massage. I feel like a real person after. So this is great. We go upstairs, we change. We decide we're going to go to lunch before we have another celebration later that night. We're at lunch now, which again means we've gone upstairs to the room, passing back down these statues. And I'm like, this time I stopped and put my hands over my face and then did one of these, shook my hair out and kept going. And I said to my guy, I was like, do I remember correctly that those statues are like $75,000 each? And he's like, that are worth $250,000 collectively? Yeah. Yep. Those are the ones. I was like, the one where the guy took his fucking head off? So apparently a couple of years ago, there was a drunk guest who leaned in to touch the statue, but like knocked his head clear off and had to put it through his homeowner's insurance and paid $50,000 to get that head fixed on that statue. The statue had to go back to Italy, to come back here, and my drunk dumbass, I kissed it on those, and then proceeded to like go on with my day without a care in the world. Meanwhile, I don't have $50,000 just hanging around to fix shit. Like that is not in my purview right now. Get back to me in a couple of years, but right now that's not where we're at. And so now I'm mortified as we're walking. Red face, can't believe I did it. Now I'm remembering the security cameras and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I get in trouble? Whatever. So like, and we're on our way to lunch and the whole walk past the front desk, I'm like, please don't look at me. I didn't do it. But I didn't break it. I did not break it. And part of me wants the security footage and then the other part's like, well, you can't prove I did it. I mean, obviously you can because I just told this whole story, but I did not break it and there is footage that I did not break it. So that was pretty cool. In addition to making me more coordinated, tequila apparently also makes me more dominant. And it all kind of ties into where we're headed for our No One Is Safe moment. So buckle up for a little bit more of this story. But I tend to be submissive. Not real life outside of a bedroom, but in a bedroom, I am definitely more submissive. I would prefer that someone take control over me in a situation. I also like to resist it, which I cop to. Like, I can be a brat in the bedroom. I also enjoy it. It's a thrill when someone else is in control and like there's the hint of danger without having danger, or is there? So all good. I get off on it. But Tequila Elizabeth, at least in like this castle, was really channeling her inner powerful queen woman, and I completely dominated my partner. And it's like so unlike me, but straight up, this is what we're doing. Do what I tell you. Get on your knees. Full on, all I was missing was a really good whip and some high fucking thigh-high leather boots, which would love. Even if they don't get worn as often, when the appropriate time comes, I would love it. So we're having this whole like amazing moment, evening, whatever you want to call it, and it was so much fun. And in addition to generally like having mind-blowing sex with this person in this capacity, there's also this whole new component for me. Like, I woke up being like, fuck yeah, I dominated that. Also, oh my God, I think I'm going to die because I'm mildly hungover. But there was like a thrill that I got out of being the dominating person instead of dominated toward. Is that the right way to say that? It gave me a new facet to my voice. There was another layer of voice that I have reclaimed or found. I don't even know if I had it before, but so much has changed from where I was last December to the December of 2023, including like this new level of my voice, the fact that I can dominate, the fact that I can be in control of a sexual situation and get off on it just as much as when I'm dominated. And it was really a beautiful moment for me in my life. It was also a shit ton of fun. Go figure. And so the point of this is now there's been all of this tequila-inspired coordination, this new level of my voice, this new level of like sexual passion being explored with someone, this amazing birthday celebration. I've been reading all kinds of books, including some Santa smut. I already have a thing for Santas. And I'm home from celebrating my birthday, the holidays, and I still have the love of Christmas, even though it's over. I still have the love of the holiday season. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what do I want to read? And everything that I was looking at, I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. I remembered this quote, be the change, right? Be the change you want to see. And I was like, well, hot damn, I'm going to write the book I want to read then. So I sat down and I banged out 10,000 words over the course of 2 days of what I am calling some hot fucking Santa smut. It had a little bit of everything I loved in it, including the magical realism of Christmas time, Christmas miracles, and one really fucking hot and smutty Santa who was a mall Santa at one point in this story and then became some kind of something a couple pages in. So it is about 10,000 words. I think it's like 9,998, so it might take some time, but if you want to read something hot and spicy, definitely a bit naughty, check out Santa Daddy, because that is the name of my story. I told you, titles are not always my strongest suit in life. I think I said it a couple episodes ago, but Santa Daddy is available on my website, and it is the perfect thing to stuff your stocking with. Just remember that no one is just one fetish, just one kink, just one thing, and in my world, no one is safe. Happy holidays! See you guys next week! Thank you so much for listening to No One Is Safe. This podcast means so much to me. If you've enjoyed it, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review wherever you listen to your podcast. For more content or more information on me, please follow my Instagram page at Elizabeth Scozzari Author and check out my website, elizabethscozzari.com. Thank you so much again, and go out and have a wonderful day. See you next week.